of reckoning includes overlooked free agent GM Mike Rizzo. Washington, it's almost spring training, and while the most powerful man in the city has doctors attesting he's in fine health, folks around here can't help but fear this could be the Washington Nationals' last stand. This is likely the last year Bryce Harper wears a Nationals uniform before he departs for the greatest riches in baseball history. The last year before All-Star second baseman Daniel Murphy and veteran starter Gio Gonzalez hit free agency. The last year the surrounding teams in the NL East all stink again, with their focus shifting from rebuilding to winning. And, perhaps, most scary for the Nationals, the last year with their architect, Mike Rizzo, president of baseball operations and general manager, still in office. While the baseball world is focused on the 2018-19 free agent class of Harper, Manny Machado, Clayton Kershaw and Dallas Keuchel, Rizzo is hitting free agency, too. Rizzo has been the mastermind of the Nationals organization while operating under rather peculiar circumstances. It's an ownership that obliterates managers, putting them in a rinse and spin cycle, employing their 7th and 13 years after firing Dusty Baker despite Rizzo's objections and hiring Dave Martinez. No manager has lasted more than 2 full seasons since Frank Robinson, who inherited the job while the team was located in Montreal. It's an ownership that has the coziest relationship with powerful agent Scott Boras, with 40% of their roster Boras clients. Rizzo was told they didn't have the money for a closer last winter after Kenley Jansen resisted their overtures, only to suddenly have enough to sign catcher Matt Wieters in spring training, who happens to be a Boras client. More MLB, it's an ownership group that has one of the most respected GMs in the game, leading the Nationals to 4 division titles in the last 6 years, and producing the best winning percentage by any GM in baseball since 2012. But hasn't had a single conversation about making him part of their future. Rizzo, 57, is earning $2.5 million in the final year of a 5-year, $10 million contract, the last 2 years simply being club options. While the Nats say they admire his work, they have yet to open contract negotiations, with his deal expiring October 31st. Mike has been an integral member of our organization for the last decade and we feel fortunate to have him leading our baseball operations, Mark Lerner, Nationals vice chairman and principal owner, said in a written statement to USA Today Sports. He and his staff have worked diligently to build our organization into one of Major League Baseball's perennially elite clubs. Mike's contract will be addressed in the normal course of business as we have done in the past. It's not exactly a heartwarming endorsement, but if they simply are making a business decision, they may want to consider that the value of the Nats franchise has risen from $406 million when Rizzo became GM in 2009 to $1.6 billion, according to Forbes. The longer the Nats ownership waits, the bigger the risk, with several clubs eagerly awaiting Rizzo's potential free agency. And the cost of front office smarts is going way up. Theo Epstein received a 5-year, $50 million contract a year ago from the Chicago Cubs. Brian Cashman got a 5-year, $25 million contract with equity from the New York Yankees this winter. Alex Anthopoulos just signed a 4-year contract with the Atlanta Braves. Even San Diego Padres GM Mitch Preller just got a 3-year extension. The only thing missing from Rizzo's resume is a World Series, with the Nats failing to win a postseason series. When you look at what we accomplished, says Rizzo, it's really unsung and underappreciated. I'm so proud of what we've accomplished here. I like it here. I love the city. I love the team I out together. I like being a GM in the NL East. And I want to stay here. I just think I deserve to be treated like some of the best GMs in the game are, too. I know we haven't won the World Series, but I get tired of hearing how we can't win the big one, or we can't get out of the first round. We haven't had that many chances. We were without baseball for 35 years here, and we cranked it up pretty good. No, we haven't won a World Series, and in the real world regular season stats don't mean expletive, but you look at our consistency of excellence, knowing what it takes to win, and I think we've exemplified that. We're pretty damn good at what we do. More MLB. Rizzo inherited a team that won 59 games, and in the last 5 years have produced the second most victories in baseball. The only team that's won more division titles since 2011 are the Dodgers, but the Nats' payroll has paled in comparison, spending $60 million less than the Dodgers last year. They have crossed the luxury tax threshold just once in franchise history. Why, the only team in baseball that's had at least a .550 winning percentage since 2011 and spent less are the St. Louis Cardinals. I've been extremely impressed, Chicago White Sox GM Rick Hahn said. Obviously, he built that club up from having the first pick in back-to-back years, netting Steven Strasburg and Bryce Harper. That's become a perennial contender for the World Series every year. But it's not just Harper and Strasburg. It's what they've been able to do via trade and free agency, scouting and developing the players they drafted. You look at his track record via the trade, and it's been outstanding, which is difficult to maintain over an extended period of time. Let's see. There was the heist in which Rizzo acquired shortstop Tree Turner and starter Joe Ross for Steven Souza and Travis Ott in the three-team deal in December 2014 with the Tampa Bay Rays and San Diego Padres. There was the Matt Capps for Wilson Ramos swap with the Minnesota Twins in 2010. The Alex Meyer for Denard Span deal with the Twins in 2012. Grabbing Gio Gonzalez from the A's in 2011. And last year's deal with Oakland to shore up a leaky bullpen did not include any of their top prospects. It was overlooked second and third round draft choices just 1 year earlier. The scouting and sabermetric worlds even agree on Rizzo's moves. Players in Rizzo's trades have generated 73.4 wins above replacement compared to a 48.0 WAR by those who departed. Yet, Rizzo is a scout's scout at heart, the son of veteran scout Phil Rizzo. He spent 13 years as an area scout before becoming the Arizona Diamondbacks scouting director when they won the 2001 World Series, leaving for the Nats in 2006. When we took over the operations, we needed as much brain power as we could get, said former Nats president Stan Kasten, who hired Rizzo, and is now president of the Dodgers. He was really the first big hire we made. And I think the best hire. You look at that team, and they've been so good for the last 5 years, and that's because of Mike and the front office he rebuilt. He does it as well as anybody in the sport. We'll see in the upcoming year whether Rizzo is rewarded, or kicked to the curb, where they will be relying on a rookie manager and, of course, several of Ball's prized clients. Rizzo insists they are not a fallback plan for Ball's remaining unsigned players, in particular, closer Greg Holland, starter Jake Arrieta or outfielder J.D. Martinez. Now, if the market plummets, they're all ears, but Rizzo envisions this team going into the season with their current personnel. People think that Scott Ball's is pulling the wool over our eyes, Rizzo says, but come on, you don't know me. Scott has good players, and we have a propensity to get deals with him, but that's it. I like our team. We've got as good a team as we ever have. It's always a risk having a manager never having managed your team, but Davey Martinez is less of a risk because he had 11 years standing next to Cubs and former Tampa manager, Joe Maddon, thinking along with Joe, and managing along with Joe. We have a young, energetic and fiery staff. I really want to win a World Series, most of all, for two of my oldest fans in the world. 92-year-old Nats owner, Ted Lerner and my 89-year-old dad. To see their excitement would mean everything to me. Hopefully, this is the year. The year the Nats finally win, and the year the Nats ownership commits to the man responsible. Photos, MLB Cy Young winners.